Here we go. Hello, everyone.
Lots and lots of people here. Shall we do?
I'm so hellos to so many people.
Yeah.
Let me just turn me off. There we go. Great. So yeah, hello to Jen, to Carl, Owen's here. Loads of people. It was great. I saw there's like 31 people waiting or something.
That's amazing.
Which is really cool. Wow.
Absolutely amazing.
Oh, don't worry, Digwell. That was those came. Those two thumbs down came last night somewhere. Hi, Tony.
Don't tell him.
Don't tell him. All right. It should be great. So just to give you a nice kind of sense or a flavour of what we're going to do today, is we're going to do a nice informal kind of question and answer chat about gardening, getting ready for spring, and a bit of chat about the book. But for some of you here who don't know who Liz is, Liz Zorab from the channel By the Farm, tell us quickly about you. But she's quite a celebrity, and most of you here know her.
I think most people here know me anyway. So I've got a small YouTube channel which is based around life on my small holdings, like homestead, here in South East Wales. It's a tiny small holding, so there's a 0.8 acres where I grow most of our food.
Wow, amazing. I'm just making sure that the screen doesn't turn off halfway through.
Oh yeah,
there we go. That would be helpful.
Starting to go to sleep.
It was, wasn't it? I was like,
okay.
Am I that boring?
No.
Apparently not.
Or maybe.
Live chat, there we go.
Oh, actually, do you know what? Oh, even better. Sorry, I'm doing a technical thing on Huw's.
I'm so inexperienced with live chats. So it's great to have the expert guidance of Liz. Oh wow, look at that. Okay, all good.
And then we can move this down.
Shall I just make it big?
Well, you can make it big, but I was just going to enlarge the writing.
Yeah, that's fine. This is good here.
Is that right?
Yeah. So if you haven't yet, please please give this a thumbs up.
Yes.
And yeah, volume very low. Volume is very low. Not too sure how I would adjust that.
We'll have to shout.
We'll have to shout, so we'll just speak a bit louder.
Is that better if we speak up?
If we speak a bit louder, is that better? Please shout. Better.
Yeah, no, that's better.
Okay.
It's us mumbling.
We will speak up just so you can get it. We haven't got any technical microphones for this. Volume is good. Better. Turn your volume up to the max so you can get this. 100 of you are here. Amazing. Right. So let's get started with some questions. So if you have any questions, let's get them through and we'll try and quick-fire them.
Please put them in capital letters so we can see that's a question for us rather than...
Yeah, rather than a comment.
Chatting to each other.
So questions in bold, 128. Amazing. I love this.
Can I start with a question?
Go.
Have you planted anything yet this year? Sown any seeds?
Yes, not much. I have sown broad beans and that is it so far. And I'm doing a lot of sowing this week. I've learnt to never rush, especially where I live. It's colder and patience is paramount, as I did in a video. So yes, right. How do you stop seeds going leggy?
Yeah, they need enough light.
Yeah.
And they also need to. It's better if you just wait a little bit and not sow them so early. So the daylight quality is brighter, stronger, and for more hours. So the legginess is about lack of light, and sometimes it's about over warmth, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. And then sign book in Germany. I'll be adding more information about that later on. And just to make you aware, we can't comment to every single question, but we'll do our best, and we might have to go back and see if.
Yeah, I need to talk louder. Okay, I'll talk louder.
Great. When should I sow squash? That's Owen. Owen has asked when to sow squash. I usually sow mine around mid-April, and then I'll transplant them some point in June.
Yeah.
I was 3 years old when I started gardening.
Okay, favourite kind of tea is just, it's a black tea, just a commercial brand.
Amazing. Favourite kind of tea? Anything that I feel like it always changes. And yeah, it's great to see all of these comments coming through. You have SG says, I have a small garden trying to incorporate edibles into my garden. Any recommendation? I'd say start with salads to begin with because you get a lot of harvest from a small space.
Yeah, peas, which you can then grow up bamboos above your salads. So multi-layer what you're growing.
Absolutely. Do I need to block off the grass between my beds? Lynn says you're not doing raised beds. I would maybe put wood chip paths down, just because when it's really wet and raining, you're not going to be slipping all the time. Because if it is grass and there's a lot of water and storms, you're actually just going to end up slipping everywhere, like I do in my garden.
Okay, most difficult vegetables to grow.
Oh my gosh.
Just because the
for
amount
me,
of care and things they need.
I don't know where to start. Probably celeriac is a pretty difficult one that I found to get right.
And for me it would be peppers because I've never grown them, so I imagine it would be peppers.
Yes, absolutely.
Zoe says, when should I start collecting water in the milk bottles for spring and summer? So this is something prompted by a bit of the book.
I'll plug the book just to say...
We'll plug it shamelessly, actually.
I will. Just to say thank you to everyone who has pre-ordered and got copies of the book, Grow Food for Free. And basically I'd say, yeah, just start collecting the milk bottles as soon as possible. And yeah, you can see the link down there. The US edition is coming out on the 3rd of March. And it's the #1 release of vegetable gardening in the US on Amazon, which is exciting.
There was a question about strawberry plants, saying they haven't had any strawberries on it for the last 2 years. You're better off taking the runners off the plants, letting those grow on, because once a strawberry plant gets to about 3 years old, it's going to be past its best. So it's going to crop best for you in years 2 and 3, and after that you need to regenerate.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you liked the 17 hacks ideas video. I had great fun making that. Oh, someone just got rid of 40 milk bottles. Jennifer, oh no. Hoarding obsession. I understand. I do understand. Same date for Canada for the book, absolutely. So if you pre-order it today, it will arrive for you on the 3rd. So that's exciting. So I'll just start looking. I remember someone mentioned earlier about rats in compost, seeing a question. For me, the thing is, rats just appear anywhere. They're kind of already going to be there. And for me, I'd rather the rats be in the compost bin than board and try and enter the house.
Yes.
That's the way I don't know if you have any.
I would rather they were in the compost bin than getting at my chickens. So
absolutely. Yeah. Last frost date in Wales, it's different absolutely everywhere. There's quite a few zones in a small area, and mine is different to Liz's. And yeah, there were so many, so I can't really say. And it changes so much every year.
Yes.
It's too hard to predict. Sarah. I like that one. Do you want to go for it?
So Sarah has asked, how do I convince my mum to go no dig? She's from a long line of traditional gardeners. What would be the best thing? If you have a look at Charles Dowding's channel, try and show your mum the video where he does a comparison between the yields that the harvest that he's getting from a traditional bed and a no-dig bed, because actually for less work you get a greater yield.
I also really like the comparison video of watering a dig versus no-dig bed, and how for no-dig the water just goes straight in, and just how healthy it is. So show Charles Dowding. Yes, nice mug, Kilted Gardener. Buy the farm mug.
Joanne says, how should I protect beans grown for dried beans? I just leave them. I literally leave them on the plant until it's the end of the season and they've dried out, and then I pick the whole plant up and take the beans off that.
Yeah. Helen, yes, check out No Dig if you haven't already. It is revolutionary. And also, I want to say hello to Jazz. Thank you for joining us, even if it is for 5 minutes. Hope you've had some, I spoke to you earlier today, hope you've had some time to enjoy a bit of sun outside today in the garden. Would you think about doing an online seed swap? I don't know. It's too much effort. I think seed swaps work so well when it's actual people coming together, and it just makes it a lot more easy.
I think there's also, I mean, just in terms of people's information security, that whole thing of so many addresses being exchanged, I think that would make it really difficult.
I've got an idea. I'm just seeing if that changes at all. If the battery goes down, then it will warn me at 20%, so should be okay.
What we're going to see.
Perhaps the sound is better now. It's just an idea.
So, how to prevent mice eating seedlings in the greenhouse?
I always try and raise things up from the ground. I have a lot of issues. Sound is better, interesting, great. I've had a lot of issues with mice when it comes to peas and beans.
Right.
So I always like to have them just hanging, and you do that with gutters.
Yeah.
So just keep them hanging from the top. So yeah, that works really well.
So if you haven't seen anyone do that, both Huw and I have got videos where we show taking a piece of guttering and drilling some holes in it and hanging those up.
Absolutely. And hello back to Rue as well. Thanks for coming along.
Thank you, Wilhelmina.
And blackberry shrub not growing, what to do? Been 2 years, still 1 foot. That is really strange. I would just say it's a process of elimination. It's about asking questions and then narrowing it down to what it is. So think about how much light it has, how much access to water it has, what kind of ground it's on. What I would perhaps feel tempted to do is dig it up and plant it somewhere else and then see how that goes.
West Yorkshire, I can't do it.
Catapults.
Says, what's the difference between organic and heirloom seeds? And are heirloom really worth the extra money? As I've had very cheap seeds go to flower and germinate the next year.
Yeah. I don't really know, to be honest. Heirlooms are a lot less popular in the UK, and we don't really speak.
Well, I think we call them heritage here. Heritage. To me, they're older varieties that have been rescued. They're less likely to be F1s.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
And the thing is that there's pros and cons of everything. So you've just got to try it and give it a go. There's no one answer because it just.
I mean, actually,
as Erica says, a can of worms.
Yeah, organic is one thing, and heirloom or heritage is another. And actually, you can have an organic heritage seed. So
absolutely,
they are actually. It's not like they're different sides of a coin.
It mixes in so much.
That's apples and concrete, not apples and pears.
Okay, Chloe's asked, do you have any hobbies besides gardening? And I'm gonna plug something really exciting that we've been doing today. Liz is hosting a podcast. What's it called?
It's called...
It's starting soon.
It's called Gardening Demystified. I'll
stand up.
I will stand up.
So,
Gardening Demystified.
Which is really exciting. It's going to be a podcast. Tony has put a link up, so if you want to go and subscribe to that, so then you can get details about it, head straight to it. And thank you so much.
Edible Acres,
yes,
thank you.
Thank you.
So that YouTube channel will have the podcasts on it. You and I have recorded two or three this morning.
But this is Liz's podcast, and I'll be also creating a podcast later on in summer. So lots more content.
I was exciting just for a moment there, wasn't it?
Was.
Okay. No, I liked all the questions. Keep
Yeah,
the
I
questions
know.
coming because I'm really
Love the
enjoying
two
all
of you
questions.
collaborating together. I mean, Liz and I, over the couple of years or something, we've developed a strong friendship, and we kind of garden in similar ways. You know, we love the spraying everything. You know, is
So yeah, we do get on. We not only have similar ways of
Yes.
gardening, but we share the same sense of humour. Not
Yes.
exactly. Not we haven't. You know,
sometimes
similar humour.
it depends on the time of
so
day, doesn't it?
yeah.
So, what's your advice about germinating chili pepper seeds? I would say start them off somewhere warm. It's got to be warm. Otherwise, it's not really going to work very well. Do those kind of as soon as possible. But make sure this is vital with chili and pepper seeds. Don't overwater the compost because I've had a lot of issues from that. So try and keep it slightly more on the dry side than the wet side. That's what I'd say. But start it on a warm windowsill. That should work well.
So Liz, are you ever going to eat that pumpkin behind Huw? So this is Gordon, the gourd. He'll fall over now. Look at that.
No! Gordon's died.
Gordon the gourd. He will stay there until very early autumn or some point in the autumn when he will go off to Erica, who
It's Wonky Gordon.
He's Wonky Gordon.
You killed Gordon. Sorry, Tony.
Go off
I'm
to
sorry.
Erica from Erica's Little Welsh Garden. And she's just put up a comment. You'll find she's got a wrench next to her name so you can find her really easily.
Yes.
So it will go to Erica and Erica will make some wine, no doubt.
Amazing, yeah. And I just also want to thank Tony and Erica and Chrissy for moderating this live chat. I'm very grateful for that. Something that I want to give a couple of shout outs. The first one is to Owen, the Welsh gardener. He's on about 268 subscribers. So I think there'll be a link coming up soon. But if you can go over and subscribe to his channel to try and get him close to 300, thank you, Tony. That would be amazing. And the second thing is, if you haven't seen it already, check out the palette seed tray video that I did, a collaboration with Steve from the Optimistic channel. That was great fun. And with your support, we got his YouTube channel from 800 subscribers to over 3,000, which is insane.
Absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely insane.
Absolutely brilliant.
Do you sell your produce to local shops, restaurants? I think Liz has a really cool way actually of selling produce. So
Okay, so no, I don't sell to restaurants and shops because there are different regulations that I would need to meet. So the small holding has been inspected and passed in terms of hygiene and food production to be able to sell mixed veg boxes, and I do that through a CSA scheme, which is a community supported agriculture scheme. And so members of the local community commit to buying a veg box every week throughout the season, so that's 22 weeks of the year, and they pay in advance. So a couple of them are paying for the whole season in advance, but most people pay a month in advance, and then that way I know how much I've got to grow, and they know that they've got vegetables coming every week.
And I love that, and I think it's something where if you do have quite a bit of land and you find yourself having a bit of extra, either give some away to friends and family, which is something that I know you do anyway, but also to maybe think about doing some kind of veg box scheme as a challenge this year, and it's not too late to start thinking about that.
Okay. Tony, if you're around, there may be someone who's just repeating the same comment over and over again, and it's kind of cluttering up the, or maybe you can.
I'm trying to get it. Let's just see.
There you go.
So, what will you grow in the polytunnel this year?
What are you growing in yours? Anything?
Everything that can't really be grown outside. It's like,
which is probably more because my climate's milder here, so I can probably grow a few more things outside. Do you do cucumbers outside at all?
Mixed success. Market more is a good variety to grow outside. Thank you very much, Anna, for your support. I'm really grateful. Market more is a good solid one to try, but usually it's inside, and it works okay, but not too fun.
Okay, so are you trying melons this year?
No, I'm trying loofah sponges.
Yes!
Yes. Is anyone else trying loofahs this year? They just look so cool. I think they're part of the cucumber family, and I just want to grow them. So I've got 2 packets of seed. So looking forward. I might give you some plants if you want. Moved North Homestead, loofah. I am great.
So Jennifer is saying, how can I become part of a CSA scheme? So if you want to actually have your veg delivered, type in, search online and search for veg boxes, but more specifically write in CSA veg box scheme. There is a national CSA scheme, so you can go and go and look at their website, and they should have links to most of the CSA schemes around you. I'm not listed on that, so there are obviously going to be people who are doing it without being listed.
Yeah, and Courtney asked, what is a loofah? It's I don't even know if it's edible, but it's kind of this sponge that grows, and it's a natural sponge that you can use then for cleaning your house, and it means it's plastic free.
It grows inside a gourd.
And you just peel it away. It's amazing.
Take the skin off and use the bit on the inside which dries and looks like
a
well-known shredded grain type cereal.
Yeah.
That's a good way to describe it.
And Erica says apparently the sponge doesn't taste great. For some reason, I'm not surprised about that.
Someone's saying happy St David's Day.
Happy St David's Day. Thanks, Adam. Also, do you have a new variety you are both looking forward to sowing, and what are they? Mine is a loofah. That is the top at the moment. Will you show us as you grow the loofah? I'm going to film every step by step, and if it works, I'll do a tutorial. If it doesn't, I'll just own up in a video and say it failed, but we'll see.
So Princess Lillian's gone saying, hello, I met you in a composting group and today I saw you on Homesteaders.
That's
hello.
Brilliant. Welcome. What is your favourite exotic vegetable / fruit to grow?
Melon. I was really kindly gifted some melon plants last year by Tony from Gardens and Gizmos. So he gave me 2 or 3 varieties, and I grew a couple of varieties myself. Yeah. And they were just amazing. They were just the best tasting melons I've ever had, but they take up quite a lot of space for the amount of fruit that you get. So I'm probably going to replace those with cucumbers this year. Absolutely.
I grew cucumber melons, which is cucumbers and melons kind of together, which are great. Are you guys growing any flowers this year? Thanks, Jen. I'm just going to jump in with this and say that I have actually bought a lot of flower seeds this year to try growing it, because I was inspired, and you can see for yourself. I did a video last year with Liz all about by the farm and self-sufficiency, and there's a link there, Tony. And you were growing cosmos, and it was the most beautiful sight, and it inspired me to grow some, hopefully around the garden. So stay tuned for that, and check out that video. It's a short film that I did. Nearly 200,000 views and great response, and fully deserved actually for what you've been doing. So
thank you. It was good fun to record that actually. So Amelia's saying she's growing all sorts of flowers.
Dahlia's nice.
Okay, so if we haven't answered your question,
yes,
can you put it in again, because we can't scroll back. So
Erica, other people seem to be okay with volume, so just double check that yours is up. I don't know, some devices have much louder mic speakers than others as well, so that could be something. Lorna, please re-ask your question, and I will prioritise it. Laura Penchester. So go. the flowers were beautiful, I do agree. Do I know of any good local gardening clubs / groups?
You can research those online.
Yeah. Cardiganshire Horticulture Society for you, Owen. They meet in Aberystwyth. So yeah, enjoy that. I can't see Laura's coming through. Lorna's even. Having trouble growing carrots. James Prigioni has done a fantastic video about growing carrots, so check that out, absolutely.
Yeah. I've just seen something about how you keep cats off your edible garden. I use netting, so I use a hoop system and put netting over it. But you could also use chicken wire, but you would need to hoop it fairly high, or else they just stand on the chicken wire. Okay,
that's great. Have you ever grown crops? We have hops. We have a hop plant back at home, which is doing quite well. Haven't made any beer from it, regretfully, not enough. But we've made wine from our own grapes. So, you know, if I can do it in a challenging environment, I'm sure a lot of you can enjoy it. So that should be interesting. I'm just seeing if that comment is... No. Callaloo. I don't know what that is.
I don't.
Kat, can you give us some more information? Like, describe it for us.
If you've got a question, can you pop it in capitals and then we'll know it's a question for us?
Yeah. When can I start to collect the rainwater? Right away. Do it right now, and then just store it ready for the growing season.
Yeah. Right, Lorna there. I was asking about whether there are any pest issues about growing veg on balconies.
I want to grow a load and have sown so much today, but I'm worried about rats we have in the garden. I mean, it's a balcony to start with, so you have the unique thing of not really having any slug issues or rat issues unless you bring them in, especially slugs. So you're actually in a very fortunate position to be less likely to suffer from pests. So go for it, absolutely go for it, and thanks for your patience. Will you be doing another planting plan video showing more examples, Lynn? I might do one in autumn or winter. Not now, it's getting a bit late for one now. I've got loads of videos coming through, but yeah, I stay until autumn because it's tricky.
So callaloo is a green, grows it's like spinach.
Oh, amazing.
Popular in the Caribbean.
Any news about your experiment planting 100 apple trees from seed? I'm going to be brutally honest, and I was so unorganised with time, mainly because I had a really big book deadline in a limited space. So I'm hoping to pick that up again soon. But I mean, the results would still be in 6 or 7 years anyway, so it's not...
Right. How would you deter ants from raised beds?
Don't know really. Ants seem to... I don't know, I don't have an issue. We have ants' nests in raised beds and I don't really care.
I don't mind about them
They're
either.
part of nature, that's what I say.
I know that they can do things, but there's also, if you're not messing with the level of the wildlife in your garden, it will actually balance itself out. So predators will come in. Yeah.
CPS Wolf, small courtyard with high walls. If there's a lot of shade, prioritise growing leafy greens because they do they do very well in shade. But also look at growing things vertically, like peas or runner beans, to then reach for that sunshine. Yeah.
I'm just going to say hello to Nick because I saw him come in.
It's going crazy, guys.
It's really hard to keep up with the conversation.
We're just looking for things that... do either of you work with fowl or livestock on your homestead? We have poultry. Both of us have poultry.
Both of us have poultry, and you have pigs every now and then.
Every 2 years. And we keep bees as well. So it's a bit of everything. Thanks, Max. How cats and foxes out of raised beds? We mentioned cats before. Foxes, pretty difficult. Not too sure. I live in a rural area and we actually have a lot less fox problems than urban areas. So I'd say Google that. It will be able to give you a much better understanding.
Sam's here from Australia.
Hi, Sam.
What's something you recommend to grow in pots in sowing in autumn? For sowing in autumn, because they're just going into autumn, aren't they?
Yeah, I would say things like try overwintering broad beans, things like that. Try peas with pea shoots, any kind of leafy greens. It depends on your climate, because some parts of Australia you can grow a lot more than others. Best duck breed for pests and eggs, in my opinion, are Khaki Campbell's.
And in my opinion, it's an Aylesbury.
So get both. That's what I'd say. And yeah, please, if you haven't yet, as Chrissy says, give a thumbs up for this video. I'd really appreciate it. Let's get it over 100. That'd be great.
That would be
Plastic
nice,
forks in the garden to keep cats walking on raised beds. I don't like doing that. I would actually recommend using brambles instead. So really spiky canes and putting those around, which also help keep down the slugs.
But lie them down.
Yeah.
Don't take your bramble and stick it into the ground, because it will grow roots and you've just planted a new bramble.
Yes. So
you
lie
must
it
be
like
lying
a
down.
fence. What's your favourite crop to grow? Changes all the time. But I don't know, peas. Peas are just so fun, and I don't know.
Squashes.
You like squash?
I like
Yeah.
squashes just because they're so exuberant and
Yeah.
they don't care what's around them. They just muscle it out of the way and off they go.
And I just want to say thank you, Forking Allotments. This community is so great. I completely agree. So many people here. It's great. Hello, Ray. Just done his seed swap. That's brilliant. Can I transplant young plants directly into compost soil outside, or should I wait a few days before transplanting? If they're hardy, don't worry about waiting or hardening off. Just put them straight out. That's what I do. If they're tender, for example, squash or something, you might want to introduce them to the cold by leaving them outside during the day, bringing them back during the night for maybe 4 or 5 days. But I'll be honest, I don't even bother doing that either, because I am lazy.
Right, Sarah says, prune winter squash or let it go crazy. I actually pinch out the growing tips of the squash at the 2-leaf or the 4-leaf stage, and then again, so that they actually branch out and go more crazy.
Biggest disaster in the garden, and I know a lot of people have had disasters, not just allotments being flooded, but also lots of people losing greenhouses. Have you had a big disaster that you've had to deal with?
I have had a huge disaster. I had a great big hole appear in the garden because there was a burst water main that we didn't know about, and it washed away the ground around it underneath, and then eventually it just all caved in. That was quite scary. You were moving wood chips off the top of that surface.
I could have ended up in Australia.
About a week before it all caved in.
Do you two have deer problems? I don't have deer for ages, so we are fortunate in that. How do I get rid of brambles that are taking over my garden? Do you have a...
No, I have more brambles than I know what to do with, so I was waiting for your answer.
You've just got to keep on cutting them all the time for like a year or 2 years, just so they lose the energy. And if you can, when the soil isn't too heavy to work with, dig up what you can. But you've just got to stay persistent. But it will work. It is possible.
Are we neighbours?
No. I live about 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
But we pretend to be neighbours because we're in the same country. Just people don't understand that it takes a while to get anywhere in Wales.
Yeah. So it's a small country, but it's a very mountainous and hilly country, and we've got a lot of very narrow, windy roads.
And I've got to drive through the Brecon Beacons to come out the other side here, which is great. Are you growing more plants from collected or bought seeds? Still mainly bought, but I do have like the few that I do collect every year just to keep it really simple and easy. But I don't know, I don't mind buying seeds. I actually enjoy it. It's one of my favourite parts of gardening, but it can get a bit out of hand sometimes.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Last year I said, that's it, I'm not buying any more seeds. And I went to a seed swap with Erica, and I came home with, I can't remember whether it was none or just a couple of packets, and I was feeling really proud of myself. And then I went online and it all went wrong.
Oh,
And
no.
I bought so many seeds, but I actually grew the plants and sold them
You know
in
what
the
I've just
CSA
thought?
veg box.
You know what I just thought would work? Make a seed list, but get someone else to buy it for you, and then I don't know. I think that could work well. It's like if I made a seed list and I'm like, you buy this, you end up buying more seeds, but I won't need to because I'm not in the garden centre. So it's yeah, the drive was gorgeous. Nice to see all the snow-capped mountains as well. What veg do I need to protect from birds? I've seen that a couple of times.
So brassicas.
Mhm.
First thing I was going to say is fruit.
Yes.
I know fruit's not a veg, but cherries and strawberries in particular will be devoured, as will blueberries.
Yes.
But then
Red currants.
all the brassicas. Yeah, my red currants haven't been attacked too badly.
Oh, right.
Have you
Yeah,
lost currants?
blackbirds love our red currants. And I've seen squirrels take gooseberries. Crazy. Life is crazy.
But vegetables, mostly it's the leafy greens, your brassicas, kale, cabbages, sprouts.
Yeah. Just a couple of ones. No, I want to try Egyptian spinach. And do I speak Welsh? Ydw rwy'n siarad Cymraeg a dyma siampl o siarad yr iaith a gobeithio chi'n hoffi clywed e, which means yes, I do speak Welsh. Hope you enjoy listening to it.
And about all I can say is yn siarad Cymraeg.
Yeah, and
When I've been told if I say that, people will know I really can't.
yes. Thank you, Ben. Do you have gardening workshops? Are they accredited? They're not accredited. They're just, look, I haven't even gone to horticulture college. Everything is just self-taught and taking it from like the amateur side of things. And so it's not accredited. It's just passing on knowledge, but also trying to empower you guys to think and create your own systems. And Liz does exactly the same as well with courses that Liz does here.
Let's have a little look.
Yes, I've got a cooking video with Jack coming up in April, I think.
Joanne asked about seed collections. Yes, is the answer to that. Watch this space.
Oh, really? So there's something you haven't told me.
There is something I haven't told you, but you know.
Do you graft anything in your garden? My dad does quite a bit of apple tree grafting actually with rootstock, which is quite fun. And also, I'm going to ask a favour now for you. I don't know if for some reason it's switched to mobile. No, it should be okay. I'm going to ask a favour for any of you who have bought grow food for free. It would mean the world to me if you could leave an honest review wherever you bought it, specifically Amazon. I'm really trying to get those reviews up. So if you, Tony's just got the link there, click on it, and please, after this live chat, it'd mean the world to me to just give an honest review on what you think about the book, and it would help so much with the algorithm and pushing it out there to help other people as well. So thank you, and thank you. Huw, do you have a day job or are you a full-time gardener? I was speaking about this earlier.
You were, yes.
I'm a full-time gardening
I said gardening journalist.
journalist,
You know. No,
yeah.
well, yeah. So he does this full time. He gardens, he writes, he presents, he's creating videos.
All sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is.
It's all to do with gardening. Is it sold anywhere besides Amazon? Yes, Waterstones, WH Smith, directly from the DK website, and good bookshops.
All good bookshops. That I think Move North is. I don't know which continent they're on. So.
Yeah. But.
Forking Allotment says may have to get a copy of the book. I think you should. Yes.
Video suggestion for sowing and growing parsnips from Ben.
I've got a video on growing parsnips from beginning to end, from seed to seed.
And by the start of next year, I'll have one as well.
Oh, excellent.
It'll be interesting to see. I haven't even seen yours, so I don't. It'll be interesting to see if we use the same method or not. But can I show you parsnips?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I pulled these parsnips for us to have to eat today. These are the kind of the littly the tail end of the
Look at
year
these.
dregs.
They're beautiful, aren't they? This is Steve.
So yeah, we grow really huge parsnips here, just in a season. So
How far advanced do you plan your videos? I've got videos roughly planned until the end of June, but it's always changing and always new ideas. But nice to be doing one a week at least now, which is great fun.
So I plan mine. I do 8 videos a month. I plan 6 of those, and 6 are planned until this time next year. And then there's always 2 floating so that I can respond to anything that's going around or do a collaboration or any of those things.
Mel says Steve has a face. Yeah, that's why he's called Steve. I mean, you don't have to be more organised, Jen. It's just kind of just go with the flow. You don't put pressure on yourself to do anything in particular.
I mean, the reason I plan mine
Yes, Helen,
is
it does.
because I'm actually so disorganised that if I don't plan stuff, it doesn't get done at all.
A few people here haven't ever eaten a parsnip, which is interesting. I think you should. Welcome, Angie.
I think there's a lot of places where parsnips don't grow because it's too hot.
Yeah, true.
So.
Yeah, it's a winter veg. It's almost a staple here in the UK, and is great fun.
Right.
Parsnip, carrot, and swede mash. Yeah, 3 root mash. I have that when we celebrate Robbie Burns night and haggis and the 3 root mashes. It's brilliant. Oh, thank you so much, Ellie, for leaving a book review, and glad to hear you love it. I'm very grateful, so thank you.
Okay, so we've got another couple of hundred people, or not a couple of hundred, we've got 100 people here more than the last time we talked about.
Which one? Demystify?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just quick.
Yes, just a
Shout-
really quick
shout-
plug. Liz is hosting a new podcast, Gardening Demystified. It's in the early stages, but there's a YouTube channel which you should go and subscribe to, so you're ready for when it does come out later on in spring. So yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And yeah, amazing. Over 200 of you watching. This is, I'm actually looking at moving house, so I'm going to be away from my parents' home, but still go back in the local area, so I can still go back and enjoy and work in the garden. But where I'm moving to will have good internet, so I'm actually hoping to make live streams regular. So stay tuned for that.
Swede or turnip, which
Thank
is
you,
easier to
Megan,
grow.
so much for that. Sorry, swede or turnip?
Yeah, which is easier to grow.
Swede, absolutely, I think.
Easier to grow. I find turnips easier to grow.
Oh, sorry, I think about parsnips. Turnips, yes.
Turnips.
Oh, sorry, he's a good mate of mine, and he's always there in the back of my head.
Right,
Leaves
somebody
and
asked
tatties.
us about coffee grinds. Sorry, if you're asking a question, can you make sure it goes in capitals so that we can see it as it's going up the list? So coffee grinds, are they good for compost or are they too acidic?
No, I actually find apparently coffee grinds, when they are used, they lose a lot of the acidity and they're almost neutral. But if you're making compost, the best way to ensure healthy compost is to use as many different ingredients as possible. That's my opinion. Could be wrong, but that's a great thing about life.
Things, yeah. Hello, does your new book not have a month by month planting plan like your first book did?
No, because it's what the new book does, Grow Food for Free. What it teaches you, and I'll show you some of the the insides, which I'm quite pleased with. What it teaches you is how to adapt a plan to your area, and there's actually a 3-year plan towards the end of the book, so it does help guide you, but it's about giving you choice, an option to make it work as best as possible in your position.
Okay, have you ever grown okra?
No.
I
Have you?
No, I don't know if we can grow it here.
You can in greenhouses. I know a few have grown. Thank you so much, Helen.
I don't like the taste of okra. I've
Yeah.
only had it once and really didn't like it. So
A lot of people have found that they mix up okra and oca, and Oca is OCA, and I'll just write it down because this is something you have to try. Also known as New Zealand yam. This is a tuber, which is a perennial and is really fun to grow. I enjoy doing it, and it's gaining popularity, especially here in the UK. So look out for that and try growing something different.
And if you can't find any, send me a message via my website, and I may have some spares.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tracy, for getting a copy. Are crickets in my compost bad? I don't know.
I don't know. I would actually take that as a sign of a good, healthy
Could be, yeah.
mixture of...
Are you planning to come to the US? Maybe in a year or two. I'm actually planning to do a permaculture video tour around the UK in summer, but I'm hoping to go to the US to do a video tour somewhere in a part of the US in a year or two. Yes, Kate, my book has been available on Amazon.
Tony, can you pop up the link to Huw's book, please, for Kate to
Yes,
see?
you can get it. If you're in the US, pre-order it. It will arrive on the 3rd. In the UK, you'll get it straight away because it's out. Are you coming to Sheffield, Huw? I'll probably be passing by. Maddie Harland from the Permaculture magazine is really helping me develop that list, and I'm doing it kind of in partnership with them. So stay tuned for that. Oh, hi Mark, welcome.
Yeah.
Come have a talk at the Homesteaders of America conference. You know who'd be much better suited for that? Liz. So I think Liz. Maybe we should do a double act.
Maybe we should do a double act.
If you can provide travel costs and all that.
I was going to have a chat with Amy Fuel at some point about HOA.
Just what do you mean by how can I boost my compost? I just want to make sure before I answer that. Is it okay to use last year's still bagged compost? Yeah, of course. Go for it. I honestly believe, and a few people disagree, but there's no such thing as too much compost, because you can actually just store it for a few years and use it later on. Just digital copy, yeah, it's out in Kindle, just to make sure. It's also out in audiobook. If you want to hear my voice for 6 hours and 1 minute, good luck. I'd pour yourself a stiff one before, during, and after. My favourite thing to cook. I love making seasonal soups straight from the garden. I love doing that, and I also do a really mean, amazing lamb casserole with lots of veg. That's my favourite thing at the moment. Favourite perennial vegetables to grow?
Oh, there are so many of them. Asparagus, without a doubt, asparagus.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. It changes every year. I need to think on that. Grab your whiskey. Yes, I'm glad you spell whiskey. I mean, you are a kilted gardener, but with a KY. Huw, are you married? No. I'm 21, just turned 21. I'm too busy writing books.
Okay, Penelope says, do you chit or not chit sweet potatoes?
You can and can't. You don't have to do it. They're going to grow anyway. And yeah, the audio or ads on YouTube probably was me. I don't know. Probably was.
So, Rhonda Shelley's saying, compost heap was not turned as they're only
great,
saving it. It's looking very wet. I would turn it and add more carbon materials to it.
Yeah, like dried leaves, shredded paper, things like that. I mean, our compost bins we don't even cover, and they get very wet, but they somehow dry out, and it works. So, yeah. What YouTube channels do you watch? Interesting. I watch loads of gardening channels, but I do watch other YouTube channels which I find fascinating. One's called a guy, Nathaniel Drew, Matt Diavella, Tim Ferriss. This is showing a different side of me, but yeah, I enjoy those channels. Is there anything you haven't grown but would like to? Helen is asking.
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes, yeah. Yeah. Again, yes, I do have digital copy of the book, Kindle.
So, Laurie, do either of you grow or like sunshade? Huw made a really nice video about a perennial vegetable that was highly underrated. And
Yeah, back in December, all about Jerusalem artichokes. I love them. A lot of people obviously like to talk about the side effects, but if you have them 3 or 4 times over 2 weeks, you've built up a tolerance. You won't get any issue, and they're great. When compost smells sour, what does that mean? Usually too much nitrogen material. You've got to balance it out, adding more carbon into that. When to plant seed potatoes and onions, before or after last frost? For me, potatoes before, because they're still protected for about a month in the ground. And onions, I usually do mid-April, and they're hardy. So
yeah, and I use onions. In the past, I've only ever used onion sets, which I put in the autumn.
yeah,
Or if they're spring ones, I get them in as early in the year as possible, so they're quite happy in the frost too.
yes. Allium leaf miner, I haven't really come across it to be honest, and I'm not too sure, Nick, to be perfectly honest. There are so many kind of niche pests that I could spend all day trying to learn, but I kind of do just-in-time learning, so if it happens, I then learn about it. Have you grown turmeric? No, but I'm actually planning to this year, so see how that goes.
That'd be
It'll be
interesting.
undercover though. Thank you very much, and you seem much more comfortable in front of the camera now. If you guys want a laugh after watching this video, go back and watch videos when I was 12, 13, and I sounded like this because I was young. And then I had a period of 15, 16, and I was a little bit awkward. But it's also because I have good company, and I feel in good company with all you guys, so it's easier.
Besides trying to read all the comments here, well, what gets you flustered?
that's what gets me flustered. When hours in the day run out. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, spring and summer, for having more hours in the day. Psychologically, anyway. I might have to just move to Shetland and enjoy 24-hour sun during summer.
I'd like to grow an oriental garden this year. Which veg would you start with?
For me, it would be things like Swiss chard, bright lights in particular. I would also grow lots of roses. There's a lot of flowers which are edible as well. So. Yeah, sorry about that, David. We are trying to speak louder, but for some reason it is a bit low. Next time I do a live chat, I will probably have a fancy microphone.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, but bear with me, just for the time being.
What can or can't you plant in a hugelculture bed? So we do a quick explanation of what a hugelculture
Go
bed
for it.
is. So a hugelculture bed is a way of creating extra growing space that will provide all the nutrients for the plant, and it's made by laying out
Yeah, go for it.
made by laying out logs onto the ground, and then branches, and then smaller branches and twigs, and pack that with what they call wood chippings and sort of thing, and some straw, and then compost and topsoil, and then slowly as the wood underneath breaks down, it's going to provide nutrients in the ground there.
Yeah,
But it means you get a deep bed.
yeah. And you can grow anything in them, to be honest.
You
Almost
can. I mean, the
anything.
only thing I would not grow in them in the first year are deep root vegetables,
Yeah, absolutely.
because they're going to hit the twigs and then just fork. So,
Yeah.
what do you do to prevent insects from taking over your garden?
I practice organic permaculture techniques because it takes 2 or 3 years, but if you do it, your garden kind of finds a balance, and it has a natural pest-predator ratio. So, for example, I don't actually net brassicas, which is really unheard of, but it's because you do sacrificial plants, but I grow a lot of soft fruit, which I do let the birds come in, and then the birds naturally control the cabbage whites for me, which is great. Oh yeah, Tony has just put Huw's newsletter. If you want to sign up for that, to find out more about the podcast that I'll be starting, and also book 3, which will come out in 2022. which is more advanced gardening techniques, taking things to the next level, looking at productivity, things like that. Join that. And
so sign up to his newsletter. We're using that link. You'll then get an email come through in your inbox, and you'll need to click in that to confirm that you do want to have newsletters. So it doesn't work if you just hit that link. You will need to actually confirm it in your email box.
Thank you so much, Santano, for your continued support for years. Joanne says, do you can ferment produce? I don't really do much of that. I love making kimchi, though. That's one of my favourite things to do. Strawberries in a hugel mound first year? Absolutely. I mean, strawberries have the benefit of not actually needing highly fertile soil. They will grow in pretty poor quality soil. So those would actually be really good to try.
Do you have a favourite rose?
No, no.
That's okay. I'm going to teach Huw the way of the rose this year, I think.
You are?
So my two favourites are... sorry, I just had a separate message come up then.
Oh, right. Yes.
Got sidetracked. My two favourite roses are a David Austin rose called Gertrude's G-Call, which I've got growing up over at Archway. It's beautiful pink, really well scented, and the other one is a dog rose, which is just amazing for the rose hips.
Amazing. I'm going to try it. I just like something that's really scented. I had this amazing thing last year where someone had packed a jar full of rose petals and then poured in honey and left it for a month or two, and then you just ate it, and it was... Apparently it's really healthy for you. I mean, I believe that. Liz, do you do rose care, or will you do rose care videos? I think I've seen you do roses.
So I've got several videos about taking cuttings and about caring for them, about winter care for them, but obviously they will continue throughout this year as well.
Yes, and welcome Monty. Good luck, Sarah.
Can you try and remember to pop questions in capitals, because it just makes it
they stand out.
Yeah, the chat's going by so quickly.
Yes. What is Liz's channel? Great question. Tony, please provide the link.
Okay, so my channel is called Liz Zorab by the farm. Tony's popped up a link to it. Do pop over and have a look. There's about 800 videos there.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of them.
And they're amazing. And check them out. Liz's channel is awesome.
Thank you.
Do you graft tomatoes? Is it worth the effort? For me, no. I don't think I even have the season to try and bother grafting tomatoes.
Okay,
really.
I haven't ever grafted them, but I've watched other channels that have done the comparison between grafted and not grafted, and they've said that the bought-in grafting tomatoes that they've had have really been worth it.
Amazing. Great. You were 50 and never graft, yeah. Same. I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
Whatever that is. Is it worth getting nematodes for slugs? I think Tony O'Neill has done some videos about.
Tony's done lots of stuff about.
Check out his channel, Tony O'Neill. Just search UK Here We Grow, and you'll find some videos.
I tried nematodes, and then I had a real long think about them and decided I won't be using them again, because I don't want to change the balance of nature in the garden. If I reduce the number of slugs, I'm also reducing the amount of food for the hedgehog population here and for the bird population. So I've decided to just live with the slugs and the snails and use the ducks to process them.
Do you think global warming is good for us in the UK in the short term? Everything's just become so confusing. And I don't know. It's just, for me, how I'm approaching things is growing as many different things as possible. So no matter what kind of year we have, what kind of climate we have, there's always going to be something that flourishes. So that's a tip that I'd give. Go for diversity. I was just looking at the time, 1 hour. We are going to go on for an extra half hour. So yeah, half an hour. So get your questions in.
Kate's saying she's got no sound at all.
Someone else seems
Same.
that they do. It seems to be okay. We're holding on. Not too many complaints.
We're getting closer and closer.
We're getting closer. No matter what, grow foods.
Yeah.
Have you tried?
Ziggy, we can't answer your question because we actually don't know. We don't know what it is.
Yes. No idea. Sorry. How many acres do you have in your homestead? Not even one.
0.8 of an acre.
And my parents' homestead smallholding is 11 acres. Best get more coffee. Absolutely. Sound is fine. I'm glad the sound is good. It seems like it sorted itself out when I pulled the plug out. Yeah. Which veg do not like to grow together in the same bed?
Now there are some I've read that you shouldn't grow together.
Mm-hmm.
Onions and is it onions and peas? Does that sound familiar?
It does. I don't know how. I might have to test it this year.
I don't think there's many.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the most important thing is as long as you have a really healthy soil, it's okay to disregard crop rotation and companion planting a bit. That's what I found. What's the strangest item you've grown in?
Croc shoes.
Amazing. I was going to say a Wellington. So it's similar. It is very, very similar. I got 20 acres. You got 42. Oh, I got a brand new combine harvester. Do you think soft fruit should be in a cage or not? Personally, no. None of our soft fruit is in a cage. Especially if you grow quite a bit, it's good to share it. I find. And thank you very much, Helen. Thanks for coming. Do you guys enjoy any of Huw and Liz stall? I was just telling Liz earlier that he is perhaps my biggest hero. And thank you, Sarah, for ordering the new book. But yeah, Huw and Liz stall is great. And we were talking as well about diets and the sustainability side of things and how seasonal local food is the best. And Huw is great at promoting that. So yeah, it's really cool.
We won't go into more depth now because we actually had a really long conversation about that earlier
yes,
on, didn't
in
we?
an upcoming podcast. Liz's channel.
How would you get on top of black fly? I wait for the ladybirds to come.
Yeah. I would also. Are there any online gardening courses you would recommend? For me, I'd say Charles Dowding's. He's got 2 online courses now. Check those out. Hopefully by the end of this year, I will have an online course as well. So stay tuned for all of that.
Okay, so Dolly's saying, please explain cage, as in fruit cage. Is that?
Yeah, it's a fruit cage, just to stop.
It's a structure. So it's poles with netting going across it. It could be square, it could be domed. Yeah. So it's a bit like a tunnel, but we just call them a cage. Yeah. Sometimes you can actually make them big enough to be able to walk into. Yeah.
So just a couple of things. Any tips on how to grow gherkins, prevent powdery mildew? It's just more about timing, and you need good airflow. But don't start them too late, otherwise they'll never give you full production. But to be honest, in the UK climate, powdery mildew usually happens anyway. It's inevitable. So just start it on the earlier side. There was one more. How can I use spent hops effectively? They're a great green nitrogen material to put straight onto the compost. So that's where I'd go.
And I put them straight onto the beds.
Yes.
As a mulch.
Thank you, Kat's Edible Garden, for joining us. Diluted milk leaves on powdery mildew. Have you tried that?
No.
I'll give it a go, Tony.
I had terrible powdery mildew in the polytunnel last year and was told to use diluted milk on it, but it was so... Yeah. It had taken hold so much by then. I thought this year I'll just do it. I'll try it as a preventative.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. What climate does Quints like? On the warmer sides.
So 2 different types of quinces. There's the quince, the orangey red one that grows on a spiky bush, or there is actually a quince tree that's like an apple and grows perfectly well in our climate. We've got them here. I have them in mid Wales as well.
Yeah. Charles Dowding and Steph Hafferty are brilliant.
Yes, they are.
Couldn't agree more. I'm just going to take a moment to say that it is so good to see No Dig finally take hold and create this revolution, because Charles has been chipping away at it honestly for decades, and he has been up against the mainstream media and traditional gardening. So I just want to say huge congratulations to Charles for getting the attention that it deserves, and we've got to thank YouTube for that as well, because it's really propelled it, and really exciting.
Yeah.
So Steph is Charles's partner, and she has an excellent cookbook actually using things that you grow in the garden, and I think she has another book coming out soon.
So, can you make a video on a covered raised bed, e.g. how to make a raised bed with a hinge lid? James Prioni did a fantastic.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it's like a hinged hoop house.
Yeah.
So, are you making winter sowing that the CMS frosted chimney? I don't usually by October I don't plant anything apart from garlic until March.
Yeah.
Just that's for us. How to get rid of aphids on broad beans? Owen, if you haven't subscribed to the Welsh Gardeners channel, make sure you do. What I do is, as soon as they start flowering, and I pick the top shoots off, just the very top tender shoots, because that's what the black fly like to go to. You can eat those. You can add them into a stir fry. Very, very tasty.
They're really nice.
Yeah.
They're really nice.
Is Liz your mum? No, we were laughing about this earlier. No.
I'm not
goodness.
even his grandmother.
No.
No, we are friends who met via the wonders of the interwebs through YouTube channels.
Yeah. Do you also watch YouTube channel of any Asian gardener or farmer? No, I don't. But I'd be so keen to, if you have any recommendations, let me know. It'll be great. Have you tried growing any microgreens? Nick's Allotment Diary. Go click on him and subscribe to his awesome channel. The only microgreens I grow are pea shoots, kind of on flats. What about you? Microgreens?
Not really. Well, cress, mustard and cress.
Yeah.
Mustard and cress, much as we had when we were very small children.
Yeah.
And also, peas for shoots.
What would you recommend for children or beginners to grow? I'm going to plug a new book called How to Get Kids Gardening by Lee Connolly. I actually have a copy, and it's got some really fun projects to try. So do that. And I just say choose one thing or two things that you really enjoy and can grow in the climate, because that will motivate you to do it. So strawberries and potatoes and peas are popular ones.
Nasturtiums.
Yes.
Which just, grow for you.
Could you guys please do a video on pollinating in the greenhouse polytunnel? I don't know, I'll add that into other videos if it's necessary. I won't do a whole video about it. What flowers do you like to grow, Liz?
It's almost a case of which flowers I don't like growing. So I don't like growing bindweed, but it grows very well here. No, I really like having a flower garden, and in previous gardens I've had very large ornamental gardens.
Great. And then, do you test the quality of your soil each year? No, don't bother. I have faith in the soil.
Not only that, but my vegetables that are growing in it tell me that it's okay.
Yeah, it's a sign. If they look healthy and lush and nutritious, then that's good. You can use it, because sometimes things put on too much leaf and not enough root, and you're thinking, okay, there's too much nitrogen. You can deal with that. Oh, thank you very much to My Family Garden for the donation.
Thank you, Monty.
The tobacco plant, how did it get on? It was great. I just forgot to dry it properly, although I would never have used it anyway. But I'm planning to get another one this year, because I can get them from a person in Lampeter. It was quite fun to grow as something completely different. And yeah, sometimes it's worth just trying something completely left field and seeing how it turns out. Another thing that I did was grow chickpeas last year.
Yeah.
Dried chickpeas that I bought from a local wholesaler, and it was great. It just worked really well. Green chickpeas, quite a novelty here in the UK.
So, Darla, plant your strawberries into. Darla's asking if she's got some berry strawberries. Plant them into pots now, in a bit of compost, or if you don't have any compost, just some soil, but just look after them a little bit. Alternatively, just get them straight into the ground.
Yeah. Do healthy weeds indicate healthy soil? in a way, it depends. Weeds are pretty fussy. They're like any part of bare ground, we will try and take it over as long as our seeds are there. How to get that crazy grass out the garden. Charles Dowding has done a few videos on that, just in terms of just cutting it really short and then putting down something to cover it for 6 months or a year.
Yeah.
I've done that at home. It works really well. Moved North Homestead. Really enjoying this. You must do it more often. Okay, I will. A pine berry's worth the price. I don't know.
Now, are pine berries the white strawberries? Or are these something different? I don't think we necessarily know what pine berries are, but I think they could be the white strawberries.
Oh, I've just picked up my keys. Crazy Gardener Collins has just picked up his keys to his new allotment today, or their new allotment today, sorry.
Excellent.
And need to start, no dig, any advice will help you. Check out Charles, but also Liz's channel and my channel, we talk a lot about no dig and low dig as well. But YouTube, and yeah, they aren't to my taste.
Jen's lot was saying, when do you cut the potted strawberries? Now. I don't even pot them on. I literally break the runners off and put them in the ground in autumn.
Quick hello to Huw and Liz from New Hampshire, USA. My dad.
No, go back. Answer that question about the new allotment, because I interrupted you.
Oh no, that was it.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I want to say, New Hampshire, USA. My dad lived there for 2 or 3 years when he was a teenager, and I want to visit one day. So we'll check that out. Do you have any problems with mice? Yeah, we just keep them out the way, but we covered that earlier in the video.
Yeah.
How did you find Charles's second course? I haven't had a chance to look at that yet, so let me know. Looks good. And
Michael Bit of Peace says, have you grown kiwi? I haven't grown any kiwi. Have you?
I've grown kiwis from seed, not into actual productive plants, but I managed to grow them that big, and then a frost hit. But it was great fun. They have these amazing furry leaves, or at least the ones that I planted. Yep. With a bed in the ground, could I create a month-by-month planting plan for vegetables? Yes, get my book, Veg in One Bed, and it will help you do that. I did a live stream for 3 hours last week. Oh. Huw, are you going to visit Richard Perkins sometime? Do I have his new book? Yes, I have his new book. Highly recommended. I've never actually seen a book that has had so much detail and information put in. It's really... it's revolutionary. Am I going to visit him in Sweden? I'd love to someday, but there's a lot to be done, so it's really tough. There's so many things I want to do.
I'm really hoping to get out there because my partner's family is Swedish, so we do go out to Sweden on quite a regular basis.
Yes, amazing. So. Which veg/flowers do you recommend in the shady side? Anything like leafy greens, kale, spinach, lettuce, things like that.
Currants for fruit.
Yeah. That's great. Glad it went well for the course, and yes, my book is new. It's exciting.
Sorry, which book?
Grow Food for Free. This is UK edition. The US edition comes out on the 3rd of March, but you can pre-order it to get it on the 3rd of March. And if you have already got it and you've had a chance to look at it, it would honestly mean the world to me if you could leave a honest review, especially on Amazon, because that just really helps with the sales and the algorithm. And it's great to have your feedback. If you can go do a video.
Yeah, obviously.
Yes.
How long do you keep your beds covered in black plastic? So you cover some during the winter, don't you?
Yeah, it's usually winter.
And I cover them for 2 to 4 weeks now-ish to warm the soil before I plant stuff out.
I've only got 3 beds covered this year, actually. It really depends. It always changes. A few of them are covered just with cardboard now. So, yeah. Oh, well, firstly, for the apple trees onto a single tree, I haven't, but I love the idea of a family apple tree. Are either of you planning on running some courses? I could have got a link in here. I've got a Master Your Vegetable Garden course. It's now a third date has been announced because the other two are fully booked. The third one I think is in June, but you can find it on my Facebook page.
And my next course is running in 13 days time.
Where can we find out about that and what is it?
It's creating a low-cost soft fruits garden, and you can find out by going to my website, which is bythefarm.co.uk.
Yes, and you can find the website through Liz's videos as well. Any book or resource recommendations for organic permaculture? YouTube. Absolutely. Edible Acres was on earlier. He has a fantastic channel, and the thing that I love about his channel is that he shows you how to do a chicken composting setup. And we've actually been speaking a bit, so we're actually planning a collaboration to come out later on in spring. So stay tuned for that one. And thank you for the compliment. What would you use large fallen oak tree branches for? For me, I would cut them up and actually just lie them down, and you can use them as a raised bed, or for hugelkultur mounds, or even as a seat, something like that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And slightly smaller branches. I'm sure there must be some mushrooms that you could impregnate the branches with mushroom spore, and away you go with mushrooms.
Any recommendations for growing vegetables in pots? Who even take my veg with me? Thank you, Tony, for finding the course.
Sam, there's an awful lot of veg that you can grow in pots.
Almost everything, just depending on the pot. So, yeah. Have I ever tried hugelkultur? Yes, adapted versions. Amazing. I love it. And the great thing is that you put in all that material, but then it breaks down, and the wood acts as a sponge to hold the moisture. Moisture retention is amazing. Releases nutrients into the soil, looking after the healthy soil life. So yeah, hugelkultur amazing. I want to make like a really long hugelkultur mound when I have my own homestead one day.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Do either of you ever have problems with trolls on here? Yeah, we laugh about it. It's life. It's life.
Have you ever tried hydroponics? No,
No.
I haven't.
No. Do you study agriculture or any course relating to gardening or farming in university, or is it really just your passion? It's really just my passion. The only course I've kind of done is a 2-week permaculture design course, but everything else is just self-taught really. And lasagna layering in my new 2-foot raised beds.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I love it.
Good.
Welcome to you from Brazil. Amazing. I love the reach and yeah.
There's something really magical about just how far and wide people come and watch, and that, you know, how far and wide because we regularly watch people from Australia, so like Mark at Self Sufficient Me.
So yeah, just keep your questions coming because we'll be on for about another 12 minutes. But I'm sure we will arrange another live chat soon. Maybe on this video, maybe on this channel, maybe on your channel.
Yeah.
Where are your gardens as would like to do courses, please? So I am near Aberystwyth in Midwest Wales.
And I'm near Chepstow in southeast Wales.
So I'm very out the way, and a lot of people who come are just within an hour. But that's why I'm looking at doing and starting to create an online course so people don't have to travel. Self-wicking in 5-gallon buckets. Things like that, they look really good, but they just don't suit me in terms of the way I grow. But it's a great thing, especially in urban areas, to look at. Jen, where right in the middle are you? Is it like Brecon, Llandovery area, Abergavenny? Let me know.
Lagudvi, yes. I'm not going to say any more than that. Chloe said, what did you study? What did you do at A-level?
A-levels, I did geography, art and biology. Which is fine. Biology is tough. If you're thinking about going back to school and doing A-levels, biology is tough. But art was great fun. It was like the therapeutic side of education. which is great. Did you say you were
I
moving?
did. Sociology, psychology, and economics.
No way.
Yeah, A level, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just moving where I live, but I'll still be working at the garden at home. So don't worry about that. And then I save up to buy a homestead, and then I'll be properly moving.
Dolly, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Yes, you will enjoy biology, Owen. Owen, he's doing geography, biology, and DT, I think, instead of geography, biology, arts, which is cool. Are there definite no's or yeses to grow / don't bother for very shady and bumpy? I would just try and stay away from the flowering things, but give things a go, especially if you're just starting out. See what does work, but be prepared that some things will fail. So as long as you prepare yourself mentally that not everything is going to work.
Something like wild garlic.
Wild garlic is amazing.
It's going to grow beautifully in a shaded area.
But test it and see what happens.
Yeah.
You might be pleasantly surprised. What is the last garden gadget you bought, and what is your go-to tool?
Oh, what a good question.
That is a great question. Fair play. Last gadget I bought, I got a hori knife from Niwaki Tools, Japanese. That's really fun. Also, I bought a oscillating hoe. I mean, I haven't bought any tools for a while. Usually it's knives that I like to use outdoors. My go-to tool though are my hands, actually. They do so many things: transplanting, harvesting, pruning, all those kind of things.
Hitting your friends in the face.
Yeah. Where do you buy your seeds? All over the place, from the local garden centre, 6 different places online, down the roads, everywhere.
If you had a blank canvas, what would you change with your garden layout? Practically nothing, because I started with a blank canvas here and I've adapted it over the last 4 years, and it's pretty much exactly as I would choose to have it.
What I would probably do is just have the undercover growing, so the polytunnel closer to the gate, because I use that for so many different things, and it just means that I'm having to walk less. And I would have also tried to put compost bins right away at the highest point of the garden, so that I could use gravity to move compost down and risk less injury.
Yeah. Should seeds be stored in the fridge?
Ideally, yes, that's the best place to store them, but I never do. I just store them in a cardboard box somewhere dark. Can you explain an allotment?
I'll tell you what, I'm almost tempted to leave that, because I know that there is a video coming out about that very thing before too long.
Oh, right, okay. Amazing.
It's right, it's not on my channel, but I know somebody is making that video.
All right. Thank you very much, Jessie. Yeah, okay, Huw. I was just about to ask.
Well,
I'll tell you what an allotment is.
No. Let them, please. Let them do that, because I know it's coming out very soon. So
Well,
let's not
whose
spoil
channel?
it today. You will find it via me.
Okay, right.
I promise you, you will find it.
Okay.
It's a community garden, and that's the closest that I think
Right.
there is in America. So
Why do you have animals, Liz, and why don't you, Huw? I do. Check my channel. I did a video about using ducks in the garden, and we have poultry
and bees.
and bees
Yeah.
and pigs every so often. So, yes, animals.
Okay, Lucas said, what is the downside of no dig?
You know, it's just too effective. It just is too good, and it's boring because.
Well, because you haven't got to stress and strain.
I suppose actually a downside is that you get less fit gardening using no dig.
Yes.
So that's a downside. Points out of 10, how good was that answer? 10, absolutely. Yes. So
That was a really good question, actually.
yeah, 6 more minutes to go.
So 6 minutes, last few questions then.
This is just, I think, a reply compost manure cardboard needed for no dig. In the first year, yes, but after that, you actually need less compost than traditional gardening. So it's that initial investment, like anything, like starting a new skill, it's that initial investment that takes a lot, but then maintaining it, and there are studies into this, no dig actually ends up using less compost. So there we go. And less weeding and so many benefits. 10 out of 10, thank you.
Paul's saying, can you grow raspberries in pots? Yes, you can.
How long do you need for shaving your beard? I don't know. If I just trim it, I don't really give much effort. It might take 5 minutes, if that's about it. I really don't like no-dig gardens, lol. Rachel, tell me why. Is it because they're just so productive or something? But let me know why. I'd be very curious.
Okay, Joel, no, everybody's saying sounds really low. We don't know why, but so we're just talking as loud as we can. I can't shout louder than this.
Yes.
That's not what my children would tell you, but...
Are you guys taking part in any challenges this year?
I haven't been challenged to anything yet.
Challenge us. Challenge us. Volume has been great. Yeah, some people haven't had good volume. Others have been good. So that's great. Can you do both videos on storing veg? You actually have quite a lot of videos about that. So if you want to check out Liz's channel to find out about that, absolutely go for it. Is your book available in Switzerland? Yes. If you just order it from the UK, it will be posted to you. So don't worry. How do you get compost cheap? I actually buy municipal compost. It's just a green waste. I've had really good results for it, and it's cheap. And but ultimately, use that in the first year, but really have a big focus on creating your own compost that year. So by the end of that year, you have your own compost that you can use. Too much money to too little effort, nothing like open ground and digging in it. That's fine, and that's the thing. There's no right or wrong. It's completely up to you how you wish to grow food, and that's a beautiful thing. 22 tons,
Thank
Tony.
you.
Amazing.
Thank you, Tony.
22. I've got 10 tons coming on Tuesday, mainly because of the new garden and new raised beds need filling. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad a lot of people have commented on that composting video about 15 degrees Celsius and boiling. I do enjoy sarcasm. It's the lowest form of wit, so it explains a lot. Do you use Mullen's Magic? Yes, I use the organic, but you need to go for the screened 10mm, not the 25mm. You want the 10mm. That is much better quality. It's a little bit more expensive, but it is so worth it.
So, if you're not sure what if you're not sure what Huw's talking about, he buys in compost we have a green waste collection system where you can put bags of green waste out and the local authority collects them, or you can take them to the tip, and then companies will use those garden waste clippings to create compost. And I have just made a video.
Yes, you have.
I have just made a video about that process with our local people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that will be out in the next couple of weeks.
So based on last frost date, I start Brussels sprouts kind of like maybe a month before the last frost date. Interesting to hear the conflicting data on that. But yeah, just a minute and a half left. So we're going to say thank you for all of your questions and just do a couple of closing announcements. So
thank you to Erica and to Tony and to Chrissy.
Put your channel descriptions there, Tony.
Yes, please put links to your channels.
Go check them out.
This is for Tony and Erica, and just a thank you to Chrissy.
And check out Gardening Demystified. Subscribe to your channel for the podcast that you're hosting. And all I'd say finally is get a copy of Grow Food for free, and to also if you have already got it, it would mean the world to me if you do review this copy. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone.
Thank you.
This was great fun. An hour and a half just went
Ping,
like
didn't
that.
it? Yeah.
If you haven't yet, the last thing you to do before signing off, hit the thumbs up. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. And thank you for getting my book. Digital version, yes, in Kindle. There are links everywhere. growfoodforfree.com to get my book. So yeah, we'll do it again. See you again soon. All the best and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Oh, go and put the kettle on.
Amazing. I am. Goodbye, everyone.